Jai Baba. Welcome to An Evening with Francis Brabazon, a title he thought up himself out of respect for An Evening with Gerald Moore, his favourite art song accompanist. And so I thought that the Ghazals, they're just, at this point, there was 160 I knew out of the two books. It took 6 weeks to collate the two books again. Oh, I've done two books again, Ruth. I like that idea with the blues and Ghazal. So I've got the the Beloved is All in All, and In Dust I Sing with the songs I know. So the books were Proletarian's Transition, Early Poems, 7 Stars to Morning, Singing Threshold, The Quest, The Cantos of Wandering, Let Us the People Sing, The East-West Gathering, Stay with God, In Dust I Sing, The Word at World's End, 24 Blackbirds, The Wind of the Word, The Silent Word, A Singing to the Eternal Beloved, The Golden Book of Praise, The Beloved is All in All, before it was published, Journey with God, and there's 3 talks. 2 unpublished plays are Squares, and then there's Being is Dying by Loving, but you've heard me sing all of those original words and melodies by Francis from that piece. So in case anyone isn't familiar with the Ghazal books, Francis was asked by Baba to write an English form of the Persian Ghazal and base it on Hafez's Ghazals that he would have Aliba read the night before, and then quite often one would come up as sort of an idea in case he was running out of ideas, having to write one every night for a couple of years. He would then base it on that, or Engagé, the newspaper of the day, or whatever was happening around him. He conceived the idea of the English language Ghazal, and he wrote a few, and he thought they might be suitable for Baba and told Baba about them, and Baba had him go fetch them and read them to him. He seemed pleased and told me to continue writing in this new form and to read them to him in batches of 3 or 4 as they were done. Each reading brought the blessings of his embrace, and every embrace contained the seeds of the next pieces. In the years that followed, Baba had them all read to him many times. Why Meyer Baba put the idea of an English Ghazal into my head can only be explained in terms of a whim. That he had a whim for a new kind of poetry for his entertainment and time pass, a poetry with its root in the perfection of Hafez, but contemporary in language and images, and which would be the ideal vehicle for the new dialogue of the lover and the beloved, which will be the new humanity. That's the preface, that latter part of the preface of In Dust I Sing. So when In Dust I Sing was published in 1974, we had been doing a lot of music before that, a Singing to the Eternal Beloved, songs, arrangements, some of Robert Rouse's songs, old songs. And then all of a sudden along came a new form of 7 couplets. What to do now? Where's there a chorus? Where's there a verse? What is the story here? What's going on? We were very, very young. And fortunately for us, a couple of years before, a chap from Tasmania showed up named Sam Saunders. And he had all these ideas of how to create a new form, he thought. Until, of course, it gobbled him up. And he felt defeated many, many times by trying to create a new form. And as we'll hear as it goes along with his, Heather's, Nadel's, Robert Welsh's, mine, Jim Meyer, of course, has had a fantastic go at the one that we seem to have the least of, from The Beloved is All in All. And many sort of decided by the end of the whole thing that we would go back to the Persian form and throw in a repeated refrain between these couplets. It definitely, when they're so complicated, gives you a breath of air to work out what on earth was the couplet before about, other than bashing my head about or putting me into an ecstatic state. We have waited all night for you, and now the dawn is come. From distant places we came, there can be no returning home. We have waited all night for you, and now the dawn is come. From distant places we came, there can be no returning home. There can be no returning home. We know it is morning because of the dawn's cruel fingers upon our hot eyelids, and we can hear her sweet singers. We cannot be sure now whether it was our own yearning. We cannot be sure now whether it was our own yearning that expected you, or you promised. It matters not in this burning. Neither have we your brightness, nor will we behold a new day. We lost our eyes in the darkness and are adrift on tears' waves. Tears, waves, wave, tears, waves, wave, tears, waves, wave. Blind, witless wretches, whose song the wind carries with the seagulls cry. Bold fellows, brave enough to leave home, but not daring enough to die, but not daring enough to die. Yet still we are wrapped in a glory to all the men denied. We once touched the hem of your dress. This is our spirit's pride. So what is it to us that somewhere the world's sun will presently rise, will presently rise? What is it to us that somewhere the world's sun will presently rise? Sometime this darkness of nowhere will be lit by the light of your eyes. Sometime this darkness of nowhere will be lit So that's where we started at Ghazal 1, very, very young, pretending that we could read the music written out. And it was difficult. Difficult. As my daughter says, it was difficult. So there's a ghazal that appears in my songbooks, and none of us could decide. Had Francis put this 14th century troubadour's melody to it, or who had, but it's lovely. It's a 5-couplet ghazal and it's not published. So now it is. Once more comes round this joyous day of days. Once more comes round this joyous day of days. And you within our hearts sing your own praise. Yes, you within our hearts sing your own praise. But what is praise unless good work is done? Yes, what is praise unless good work is done? And that means sacrifice of all that's won. Yes, that means sacrifice of all that's won. Once more comes round this joyous day of days. You within our hearts sing your own praise. But what is praise unless good work is done? What is praise unless good work is done? And that means sacrifice of all that's won. Yes, that means sacrifice of all that's won. Still is the wine shop shuttered and he sleeps. Still is the wine shop shuttered and he sleeps. And he leaves to reach the sowing that he reaps. He leaves to reach the sowing that he reaps. Once more comes round this joyous day of days. Once more comes down this joyous day of days. Still is the wine shop shuttered and he sleeps. Still is the wine shop shuttered, yes, and he sleeps. And he leaves to reach the sowing that he reaps. He leaves to reach the sowing that he reaps. Francis, enough! This vintnered ebony, this vintnered ebony gives rise to wealth in hopes and rich despair. Gives rise to wealth in hopes and rich despair. Gives rise to wealth in hopes and rich despair.
Ask him how the sound is.
How's the sound, Ruth? Is it distorting?
Can they hear you?
We can hear you.
Yes.
I think there's still a little bit of distortion with your voice.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if
Yeah.
Jim and Joe are here. They can speak up if they have any
Turn
thought.
that right there, down a little bit.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
input, not that one.
No. Okay.
Jim, are you there?
No, other way.
Yeah, just I mean, it sounds fine with me. She has a strong voice, so she might want to turn the microphone, vocal mic, just down a little bit.
I just have the one, a Yeti, so it's taking everything at the same
Yeah,
time.
it's holding pretty good. Just move back just a little bit, and then it's fine.
Wombat.
Not wombat.
Wombat.
All right, let's give it a go.
Okay. So then he thought, we should try something as a group that might be easy. A group of like 15 people singing a cappella in unison. As a person with a degree in music, there is nothing more complicated than Greek chorus number 1 or singing in unison en masse. Little harmonies just hide all those differences. But we had to go at this. Francis mentioned that this is unique to English language in rhyming, in that you can have rejected us, protected us, corrected us, deflected us, selected us, respected us, rejected us. So we didn't get off. He's rejecting us in the first couplet, and it's whatever it is, not him, is rejecting us in the last couplet too. Well, have you called yourself the ocean of mercy? For your shadow the sea has now rejected us, flinging us upon this inhospitable beach, without even the ragged sail which protected us. We know that 1,000 times we have disobeyed you, and 1,000 times you have lovingly corrected us. But it was not that we willfully turned aside, but a sickle shape promising reaping that deflected us. Our greatest error, beloved, was our presumption that out of this teeming world you had selected us to carry your message and sing your songs in the sun. And our secret desire that men respected us. How faithful to you is your shadow, even this sea. Impartially it has judged and rejected us. So it's to our advantage that the world rejected us. It took me years to work that out. I kept wanting to change that last word when I was young. Just get back a bit because this mic is still feels wrong.
That sounded great.
Oh, that's good. It's much easier when it's a cappella on these little mics, you know. So I'm going to, how do I get over there? How do I get over there? All right. I want to do 2 a cappella songs in a row. Yeah. Of course, people that had our first album, Advertiser Abode LP, heard some of these songs like Ghazal 5. First Sam decided he would tune them numerically, but Francis, by about Ghazal 5, said you don't have to do that. You can just tune ones you feel like tuning. But we had this fantastic melody to Ghazal 5. Though fate 1,000 times makes you a pawn in its game, do not give up. Cling like a child to the hem of your beloved's name. Though the wave rises before you awful as a mountain, do not give up. It's but a ripple on the pond of the knowledge bliss fountain. Though girls golden as goddesses come to you, do not give up. Behind their smiles is the ever-loving, the true. Though earth be crushed under the hammers of the sun, do not give up. When the wreck is swept away, before you will be the beloved's form. Though your beloved may look at you askance, do not give up. One day will come the invitation to the dance. Think of the men who went before, those who will come after. Do not give up. Earth, millions of times, our troubles are matter for huge laughter. The end of every affair was in its beginning. Do not give up. The conclusion of your journey is in your singing. We'll come back to it when I've got room for another a cappella one. But in the meantime, I thought I would do a Heather Nadel one. So we got to India in 73, and we met many people there. So when we went back, I think the following year, they too had the In Dust I Sing book. And Heather Nadel had a beautiful voice and played dulcimer, an instrument I'd only heard on records. And she came over to the Ashoka and taught me this in the bathroom of the Ashoka. Ghazal 30. Though you have remained aloof, we have not sought other shrines. Rather have we fanned with our sighs the name that refines, the name that refines. So it is that although you cover your face from our sight, its reflection within our hearts hourly becomes more bright, hourly becomes more bright. When our eyes have been washed with blood, we will see you as you really are. When our eyes have been washed with blood, we will see you as you really are. Your named qualities we let others hoist as flags. In their holy wars, they will carry the message that they imagine you gave. For us who know only you, there will be no world to save. There'll be no world to save. Men labor only so long as they do not know that you are all, from fiercely shining sun to cooling dew. And you will be there marching, and their cries, though they will not know it, and your grace falls on whomsoever you wish to bestow it, whomever you wish to bestow it. Though you should remain forever aloof, though you should remain forever aloof, we have made our choice. Oh, tears are your compassion, oh, tears are your compassion, oh, sighs are your own sweet voice.
Have a drink of water.
I have to put them down. There's no room here. I'm going to try something I haven't done since 74. But I'm sight reading it now. We did learn to read music, so I'll have to turn the page as I go. Ghazal 7. All the world loves a lover. which should gild a man's tongue. What then shall be said of us fellows who have no shame? What then shall be said of us fellows who have no shame? And without youth or wisdom, and without youth or wisdom, take the beloved's name, take the beloved's name, take the beloved's name. Surely a scurvy crew, madman doing lovers lane. Surely a scurvy crew, magsman doing lovers lane. With tinsel tongue talk of love, yes, tinsel tongue talk of love, yes, tinsel tongue talk of love, and homage for coins gain. A pickaxe for each and a stretch of road for gravelling. So why do others the disservice of smooth travelling? But do not let God know, lest he weeps, and a miracle is seen of gravel taking root, and a stretch of road turning green. For although our hearts are black with every nameable sin, for although our hearts are black with every nameable sin, the Master in his mercy, the Master in his mercy, opened the door and took us in. He opened the door and took us in. The streamlet, eager for the abyss, is the sun's delight, and in still waters appears the lily's gold wrapped in white. Thank you, everybody. That was so great to have a reason to do that again. Typical. There was all instrumental, beautiful pieces by Joanna on her recorder. These people have all passed now, but I can still hear them and their nervousness. And Gary Lindsay on his clarinet. And oh, it was just amazing time. Such a good, big... I'd like to get that LP taken to digital. That'd be good, huh? To CD. Excuse me. Then we got to know Francis's sense of humour. How can you even think of yourself as a poet? How can you even think of yourself as a poet unless when the banjos ring you can heel and toe it? Unless when the banjos ring you can heel and toe it. Poetry's in drunkenness, a lunatic distilling words from blood for a beloved who is never willing, for a beloved who is never willing, whose eyes say love me, whose eyes say love me, whose eyes say love me, but who looks askance at the poor singing through slightest advance, whose eyes say love me, whose eyes say love me, whose eyes say love me, but who looks askance at the poor singing through slightest advance, who hides the mystery of the stars in a wisp of hair, who hides the mystery of the stars in a wisp of hair, whose mouth when given is honey hiding stings of despair, whose mouth when given is honey hiding stings of despair. Are you willing, friend, to dedicate your verse? Are you willing, friend, to dedicate your verse to one who smiled in thy song's very purpose, to one who smiled in thy song's very purpose, yet when the fool is silent, says, has my beauty become so poor that you've forgotten your duty? Has my beauty become so poor that you've forgotten your duty? I tell you, dream not of a white-sheeted, scented bed. In the dust of lovers lay must roll the poet's head. In the dust of lovers lay must roll the poet's head. This was by Bob Welsh. Bob Welsh had been a famous
Have a drink of water.
someone's saying from the kitchen, have a drink of water. It's very hot here. Anyway, Bob Welsh, Robert Welsh, as he's now known, was quite a famous, well-known jazz pianist. Oh, a jazz pianist, Pam. And in Melbourne, which was a very sophisticated city. And so he came along with his electric keyboard and tuned the Quest and all sorts of interesting things and a lot of the Ghazals. And I always like this one. I leave a couple of couplets out, but it's because I can't remember their melody. Love is lovely and lowly. It runs from high places as swiftly as summer rain, down the mountainside races. In the mountain passes of intellect, the heart freezes. In the valleys of love, how sweet are the scented breezes. Mind toils like a spider that spins a new web every night. But love is idle as flowers that bloom for the beloved's delight. Love is faithful to itself. Intellect commits treason to its own integrity through perverted reason. But love is lovely and lowly. It seeks hollow places at the feet of the amateur. Is where God's grace is where God's grace is. He has a fantastic album called Hammers in the Sun, and I recently found a link to us singing one of his songs. I think I put it up. It was fantastic. I couldn't believe we were so good back then, because I sang a lot of his backup and harmonies. Let's go to something tricky here. Oh, sorry. We'll see if I can switch songbooks here. It's too near the mic. Let me see. Okie dokie. Oh. This is from The Beloved Is All in All. It's a kind of a late piece that my musical partner, as his wife, has given me the title of. Because she was much more involved in his music and cannot get it to stay still. Bill, can you turn that a bit? This won't turn around. It's one of those old springy music stands. It just needs to come around a bit. This is fun. Because I see my shadow, I know love's sun has risen. But my fascination with my shadow became my prison. My shadow goes out from me and turns back and beckons and says, "Come, let us dance together along new horizons." I answer, "Invite me no more, you sweet little witch. Many times I've danced out with you into a ditch." My shadow, my shadow. Of course, he plays all sorts of fancy guitar. I just have to plonk and chink along. My shadow, my shadow, my shadow, my shadow, my shadow, my shadow. Because I see my shadow, I know love's sun has risen, has risen. Because I see my shadow, I know love's sun has risen, has risen. But my fascination with my shadow has become my prison, my prison. My shadow goes out from me and turns back and beckons. Come, let us dance together along new horizons. Come, let us dance together along new horizons. I answer, invite me no more, you sweet little witch. Many times I have danced out with you. Invite me no more, sweet little witch, many times I have danced out with you into a ditch. My shadow, my shadow, my shadow, my shadow, my shadow, oh, because I see my shadow, I know love's sun has risen, has risen. Love's sun has risen, but my fascination with my shadow, it's become my prison, my prison. My shadow goes out from me and turns back and beckons. Come, let us dance together along new horizons. We said our love will awaken the earth to a new dawn. But my spirit blew only cracked notes on its wilted horn. We said our love will awaken the earth to a new dawn. But my spirit blew only cracked notes on its wilted horn. I will sit out my prison sitting in my heart's corridor, corridor. I will sit out my prison sitting in my heart's corridor, corridor. At midday your beauty will be buried beneath this floor, this floor. For although my prison has thick walls, it has no roof. And of love's sun's glory, midday will bring burning proof. And of love's sun's glory, midday will bring burning proof. Not only you, darling shadow, will have vanished. Not only you, darling shadow, will have vanished, but the horn of the sun, the horn of the sun will break down these walls, and I and my true beloved will be one. My shadow, oh, my shadow, my shadow, my shadow, oh. So the concept is cool. So what he does there is he builds a house with no roof, with very solid walls, and at midday there's no shadow. It's good fun. It doesn't work, of course. There's 1 minute past midday. But anyway, he thought it through quite thoroughly. Not only you, darling shadow, will have vanished, but the horn of the sun will bring down these walls, and I and my true beloved will be one. Fantastic stuff. When I first heard Jim Meyer do this from The Beloved Is All in All, I was speechless. I mean, the simplicity of it, and the mood, and the beauty, and the somehow the seeming knowledge of the person poured through page 36 in The Beloved Is All in All. You have expressed much loving kindness to me of late, bending down from your beyondness, tender, compassionate. bending down like a beautiful rain cloud, healing the parched earth, as a breeze from the hills filling the night with its perfumed breath. And because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death, for I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. You have expressed much loving kindness to me of late, bending down from your beyondness, tender, compassionate, bending down as a beautiful rain cloud, healing the parched earth, as a breeze from the hills, filling the night with its perfumed breath. Because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death. For I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. By this I know that I am now not very far from death, which I welcome, for it will bring me closer to you in birth. I would only grieve if there were none to take my place in song duty, but you have lovers enough to celebrate your eternal beauty. Because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death. And I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. And will not my dust whisper inspired songs in the singer's ears, so that they will sing all night, sing till the pale dawn appears? And will not you in the dawn open to them your door? And a few drops may spill on my dust of that wine you pour. Because of your loving kindness, I can cheerfully welcome death. For I know I will be born again with the smell of wine on my breath. Thank you, Jim. I had to pretend he wasn't here listening. So if anybody has read the Songs of Francis Brabazon on avatarmayababa.org, I put a lot of energy into writing it, and all the influences over the years from Francis's astonishing record collection and Sam's amazing knowledge and his degree in theory and composition. Of course, we were all sent off to colleges of music too, but he was a prodigy of some sort. And but anyway, he would get a kick out of being shanghaied and all of the sea shanties. And so because we sort of liked these sea shanties and this early music from Francis's collection, he introduced us to Percy Grainger. Percy Grainger was an eccentric Australian who lived in England with an eccentric mother, and he and a friend invented a sort of tape recorder in the 19th century, and they went everywhere and taped everything that might have become lost of the English folk songs, the sea shanties, early music, and so on. And it's actually how we ended up with like a Danny Boy or whatever, because those melodies all came back with Percy Grainger and people put new words to them. So we have a Percy Grainger cassette here, and you remember cassettes. And on it is Drunken Sailor, which I have to think are newish words, because the original has these fantastic ideas, and then Benjamin Britten, of course, picked up on all this and made some of these folk songs classical. So this is my idea, and Rosalie can dance. She can do a reel to Ghazal 15. And I have to try and squeeze the words in because they're awfully good fun. Being in mid-ocean, it's no good bleating like a ruddy goat. After all, no one made you get on this ruddy boat. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. Being in mid-ocean, it's no good bleating like a ruddy goat. Being in mid-ocean, it's no good bleating like a ruddy goat. After all, no one made you get on this ruddy boat. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. No good hawing and humming, perhaps I shouldn't oughta have got on, get off and try to walk on the ruddy water. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. No good trying to think of fresh angles or new quirks, you dear immortal soul that started this whole ruddy works. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. You don't like it? Well, who in great fortune's name said you should? You didn't do it for someone else, it's only for your own ruddy good. Yay! Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. You don't like this creation game, they play it way too tough. But it was you yourself who made the rules so ruddy tough. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. Enough, enough, stay in the ruddy ship or get out of it. Even in drowning you'll find that you're just a misfit. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. But the best solution would be to make friends with the captain. The best solution would be to make friends with the captain. He might make you a ruddy good sailor if you bear and grin it. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. Hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises, hey ho, and up Meher rises early in the morning. So we can't possibly do that without going to the next one, influenced by Percy Grainger. Where was my place back in? Oh dear. Number 14. This is definitely, even on the dedication, the melody is influenced by Percy Grainger. So you're on test here. Some of you have done this test. You have to work out which mandali is which. The ship is sinking. No one can tell the captain, because he's left the bridge. He's locked himself in his cabin. First mate writes letters. He's patching up family wars. The boatswain mumbles. The purser recounts cricket scores. ship is sinking, but no one can tell the captain. The ship is sinking, no one can tell the captain. He has left the bridge and locked himself in his cabin. Yes, he's left the bridge, he's locked himself in his cabin. The first mate writes letters, patching up family wars. The first mate writes letters, patching up family wars. The boatswain mumbles, the purser recounts cricket scores. The boatswain mumbles, the purser recounts cricket scores. Cricket scores. The crew tie flags to life buoys and chuck them into the waves. The crew tie flags to life buoys and chuck them into the waves. The flags bear messages such as God is love and He saves. God is love and He saves. Fish singly and in pairs come up to the surface. The fish singly and in pairs come up to the surface. Read and form into circles on the wakes. Read and form into circles on the wakes. Scarf of lace on the wakes. Scarf of lace. Why do men ever sign up for long sea voyages? Why do men ever sign up for long sea voyages? Is not God in small houses and picture book pages? Is not God in small houses and picture book pages? I am by nature a landsman, a lover of quiet streams. Oh, but somehow or other seas and ships got woven into my dreams. Now this ship is sinking, and strangely it seems no disaster. Strangely it seems no disaster. Men also die in houses. Why not at sea with the master? Why not at sea with the master? So, the first mate writes letters patching up family wars. Is actually Erich. I mean, Ardy would take them to the office, but Erich wrote them. The boatswain mumbles, Padri, and the purser recounts cricket scores, Pindu. The crew tie flags to life buoys and chuck them into the waves, probably money with the family letters, and there's flags and they bear messages and say God is love and He saves. The fish, singly and in pairs, come up to the surface. That's all of us. They read and form into circles on that wake's scarf of lace. But then he has regrets, you know. Why did I sign up for this? I'm really a hobbit. I really like the hills, you know. It didn't go back to where I was, Ruth. It went back 10 guzzles ahead. Now this really has this beaut thing that Pam or Jim or anyone could play, but not me, where it goes in a circle, a spiral. But I'll just have to do what I do. Smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. Smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. Yes, smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. But where can God be found? The beloved is kindness itself. He grants every pair. but it is a wise man who knows for what he prays. So beware, smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. Smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. Awake or asleep, on every breath is a smoking desire. Yet who would believe his nostrils are a dragon's breathing fire? Each thinks he's a lamb, or a lily, or at least not stinkwort, or one of the more obnoxious types of beast. Yes, smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. Smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. Where can God be found? All right, whether lamb or ox or ass, the road is shorter if you stop seeking pasture and offer yourself up for slaughter. Slaughter? Well, why not? The Lamb of God is slaughtered every day. If one objects to a little spilled blood, one is not yet on the way. Oh, smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. The simplest way, if you would really see love's lovely shape, seal up your lips so that you can then ask. Seal up your lips so that you cannot ask, nor make complaint escape. Yes, smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. Smoothly, soundlessly, the wheel of birth and death whirls round. Only God's grace can save one. Only God's grace can save one. Only God's grace can save one. But where can God be found?
What number is that?
24 in IDIS, Rosie. Yeah, it appeared late in the piece. I mean, oh, he plays this circular, amazing thing, you know. And he said it was easy and I'd be able to do it. And it sort of slipped away from me. And then when I was doing this book, it came back. So I didn't really have time to try all the tidgety bits. He did go and jump ship on us. It's not my fault. How can you even think of yourself as a poet? How can you even think of yourself as a poet? Unless when the banjos ring, you can heel and toe it. Unless when the banjos ring, you can heel and toe it. Didn't I already do this one? I did.
I was enjoying it again.
A poet. A poet is a man condemned to exile, because within his heart there is no guile. Poet is a man condemned to exile, because within his heart there is no guile. A philosopher without a system's rule, having mastered and transcended every school. A philosopher without a system's rule, having mastered and transcended every school. A poet is an old man in a child. What wise to the world and easily beguiled. A poet is an old man in a child, wise to the world and easily beguiled. He goes to bed cold sober every night, and wakes dead drunk to welcome morning's light. He goes to bed cold sober every night, and wakes dead drunk to welcome morning's light. A poet is a ruin over treasure, a deep ocean that none but God can measure. A poet is a ruin over treasure, a deep ocean that none but God can measure. He eats with dogs, his pillow is a stone, he swings on gates of tide and tunes bees drone. He eats with dogs, his pillow is a stone, he swings on gates of tides and tunes bees drone. A poet is a stronghold you can trust. A poet is a bit of singing dust. A poet is a stronghold you can trust. A poet is a bit of singing dust. Number 14, Rosie. So now we'll go to another one by Heather. Later on, it says 1977 here, and you can all sing along. I remember distinctly the beginnings of this love, about which it was easy to make vows so hard to prove. I remember distinctly the beginnings of this love, about which it was easy to make vows so hard to prove. A new moon hung from a blossom-laden apple bough, and eternity hung in the silence of that now. Presently the stars came out, and God caught in your hair. Then dawn escaped from your eyes and spread everywhere. Night followed night of dreaming and loving, till the months half closed, when the moon came up and stood on the hill like a yellow rose. You stole from my side sometime during that full moon night. When I awoke, my body was shrouded in white. Gradually the moon waned to a chink in a curtained window, then died, and the dark took over to forever continue. I left my house and orchard, and I came down to the seashore, where my grief can be heard by none. A above the surf's roar. Ah, but I remember distinctly the beginnings of this love, about which it was easy to make vows, so hard to prove.
I say amen.
Oh,
I said you could repeat that one again.
maybe at the end. We'll keep it aside for the end. I find it fascinating. It was written in 62, 63. He's got the phase of the moon right. Everything here. It's extraordinary. As one does these things over the years, and one becomes much older than he ever got to be, one sees these things. It's extraordinary.
He's really a creative scientist, you know.
Yes.
I mean, so
He
when
didn't have that Aquarius streak with a
yeah,
love.
really.
Yeah. 53, Rosalie. I slowly got better at guitar. And I put a few guzzles to music. I got the courage up. And this is Guzzle 53. And anyone that thinks that Francis is always picking on us, this song will cure them of that thought. After the night's rain, the sky was an inverted bowl of crystal, in which the kookaburra's laugh was a musical repeating pistol. The sky fell down in a glittering broken chord, each note being a mirror reflecting a face of the word. Splinters of light flew into our eyes but did not wound, and tears bright as flowers sprang up and fell on the ground. A great gentle wind, like the breath of a sleeping child, arose and filled every corner of a silent world. And we had visions of voyagers in ships with huge sails, to the islands in the sun where song never fails. Then we noticed that the women had hung their diamonds on the she-oaks, and children were forming into choirs to recite Sanskrit sloks. Then the silence effaced every image from our minds and our hearts, and a seed of new love was sown. The seed of new love was sown. The seed of new love was sown that would become our new art. Oh, we can't just throw this on the floor because we... Oh. Oh, we're moving along. This is good. There are hundreds. I mean, you just have to pick up 6 pages at a time. All right, if everybody's ready for something lengthy and intense. Ghazal 35 became a favourite of the Mandali because we don't know if it was the 35th ghazal, but when Francis read Because of Love to Baba, Baba said, "You've got it." And so it became Rano's favourite, Meherwan's favourite, everybody. Rano even called her book Because of Love. We wrote a play because of love. And so Ghazal 35, it's very high for me now. And I can't find my capo. The evening pianos have folded into silence because of love, because of love. The night trumpets have wailed their last notes of violence because of love, because of love. How earnestly we pursue our roles in God's great game because of love, because of love. The freshening dream, the kiss ever new and the same because of love, because of love. Who, if he could hear his own voice, would go on singing because of love, because of love. The end remains covered, else few would make a beginning because of love, because of love. The difference between being coated with eggs and showered with roses because of love, because of love, is less one of talent than one's fate share, which time discloses because of love, because of love. We sleep, sometimes we dream and awaken to a new day. We sleep, sometimes we dream and awaken to a new day because of love, because of love. A billion years of wayfaring, yet still we don't know the way. A billion years of wayfaring, yet still we don't It was great when the whole group would sing it. It was just spectacular. Oh, Ghazal 43. Do not sing until Mahapralaya. Water. By being in love with death. Number 47. Water of Industai Singh. Water, by being in love with death, gives life to all things. Desiring absorption in the ocean, it flows and it sings. The song of water is reflected in greenness. It assumes incredible tallness in men's hearts where it perfectly blooms. It's so docile, it goes wherever you conduct it. So raging that it sweeps aside all that would obstruct it. Its nature is female and it always flows in curves. Try to grasp it, it eludes you. Respect it, it serves. It occupies the smallest space yet spreads everywhere. Its boundlessness can only be expressed in a tear. Like water are the lovers of God. They're tall in humility, forever passing away in eternal stability. As water are the lovers of God. They're tall in humility, forever passing away in eternal stability. Falling ever at the beloved's feet, they spring up in their fall, and springing, singing like giant flowers, they shed perfume on all. So Baba asked for a rewrite on Ghazal 59. It had formerly been and was read out and translated by Alaba, the men of God. And of course the original, if I could find it, 59, it should be right there, shouldn't it? Oh. I couldn't decide, Ruth, whether to alphabetize it or go by the numbers. But I'm so hooked to the numbers that where's it gone? Baba doesn't want to hear us hear the never say Baba doesn't want. Baba always wants. So it was the Divani Shamsi Tabriz by Jalaluddin Rumi. The man of God is drunk without wine. The man of God is full without meat. The man of God is distraught and bewildered. The man of God has no food or sleep. The man of God is a treasure in a ruin. The man of God is not of air and earth. The man of God is not fire and water. The man of God is a boundless sea. The man of God rains, pearls without a cloud. The man of God hath 100 moons and skies. The man of God hath 100 suns. The man of God is made wise by truth. The man of God is not learned from book. The man of God is beyond infidelity's religion. The man of God right and wrong are alike. The man of God has ridden away from not being. The man of God is gloriously attended. The man of God is concealed, Shamsi Dini. The man of God do you seek, and you will find. So Francis comes up with, he can't imagine such a person. So I think he's projecting the musts here. You have no idea how hot it is, and it's Berkeley. What is this? The world's on fire. And another thing is, I'm nervous. Whenever I'm nervous, I know Barbara's right there. Right? I never run it down. I never try to avoid it. I'm nervous. Whoa, give me some room here. I see it as a blessing. So I just kept it simple because this is superb. The men of God are kingly indeed, scions of light, not begotten from seed. Their palaces are huts, their thrones in gutters, their gardens need no walls, nor their windows shutters. Easy and yet majestic is their walk, in parables of pure verse is their talk, is their talk. Their drooping eyelids are the gate of dawn, and from their silence all true songs are born. Heedless of the homage for heaven obeys their slightest whim, and at their words suns blaze. Drunken without wine, they're filled without meat. The earth herself adores their holy feet, their holy feet. Behold them in their ruin. Is their treasure, is their treasure. For they are the sons of God, man, his dear pleasure, his pleasure. So one has to see the respect there for Shams at their word sun's blaze. He's included it. So I'm glad I read the other one first. Maybe we should go back to something tricky here by Sammy. Everyone knows so many of them now. Sam sent this to me in 2007. It looks like he wrote it much earlier than that. For the 100th birthday of Francis. We had, I think, a long weekend, maybe longer, of Francis celebrations and Francis songs and Francis writings and Francis talks and so on. So I decided, I'd been very sick for about a year with cranial shingles. And I got better like 2 weeks before, and off I went. And Sam wrote this for me, and I had to sort of learn it overnight. So I jumped in and learnt all this tricky melody, only to get down to him saying, "You're singing my part. That's the guitar part. Why are you singing my part?" We fought like crazy, us two. And I said, "But that's the melody line." "Oh, it is?" I said, "Yes, remember what Barbara said to Francis. Don't worry about the music. It's just to tickle the ear to let the words in. I'm taking that line." So here's how it sort of comes out. Ghazal 71 in Dust I Sing, Rosie. Oh, this is lovely. Now am I a resident in the street called Love Street. Yes, now am I a resident in the the street called Love Street, that river of dust that flows around the beloved's feet. Isaiah told the dust dwellers to arise and sing, but because I remain in the dust, my songs take wing, take wing. To where else but dust would you go to find the Lord of hearts? The dust is cups that catch his blood that drips from the world's darts. Blood is of the first supper, which is of time and place. At last is poured the pure wine of the Master's grace. Our unending sorrow is our reward, for our tears enhance the beloved's beauty, for so it appears. The truth is our happiness only reflects his bliss. The lover is the shadow of what the beloved is, of what the beloved is. And where else can a shadow dwell but in the dust? Of what else can love's singer tell but love's sweet trust? A melodist from heaven and the Avatar's poet. What more could we have asked for as a group of young ones? Last evening there was a crescent moon, telling me of a time of fullness, of perfect poverty, when I will no longer be a dust dweller in Love Street, but dust itself, kissing oh so lightly my beloved's feet. Then the wine shop keeper, seemingly knowing my desire, had me called and gave me wine, which lit in my heart love's fire. He then ordered the musicians to tune their drums and strings, and poured wine for all, and the bird of song took wings, and the bird of song took wings, bird of song, and the bird of song took wings, bird of song took wings. So we spent the night, I at last the seeker who no more seeks. And now over the housetops steps the girl with the rosy cheeks. The morning breeze bears the scent of honeycomb and bark. From the ocean's rim shoots up the sun's first burning spark. In a fly's wing space I see the world I left, the world of pain, and I brush his hand with my lips as he fills my glass again. Do, 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 do. Oh, Samboji. You did it. You did it. Ghazal 65, Rosalie. I sort of borrowed little bits of a 14th century troubadour melody here in our troubadour phase. It's a queer lot that fortune has brought together round this campfire, from different walks of life in a common quest and desire. Yes, it's a queer lot that fortune has brought together round this campfire, from different walks of life in a common quest and desire. To God, butcher, banker, poet, plumber are the same, so long as ambition is dead and the heart is lit with love's flame. All those things which the world arduously pursues as prizes are be-ribboned baubles of various colors and sizes. As for painted prophet and false teachers, they're manure to the roots of God's saints, and to lovers whose hearts are pure. In one drop of love's wine the wells of the universe swim. Is it not wisdom then to stake one's life on love's whim? There is no affair in the world not settled by coin's toss. At every step one takes, the road forks to profit and loss. To lose love's favor is real loss. To lose the world is real gain. And this is what has drawn us fellows together on this empty plain.
Ooh.
Whoa. These troubadour tunes really suit the 7 couplets for some reason.
I was going to say we probably have time for maybe one more before
All right.
Artie starts
Oh,
silent.
my goodness. Okay. We better not do something gloomy then, had we? We better do something by Sam or by Raine. It's much easier if I...
You do equally well with or without guitar. Your voice is so lovely.
Well, I'll do the one I tuned first. Or I'll do the one Sam tuned last. I dwell in dust and sea, and my song is most sweet. For although I lie prostrate, I do not entreat. I would not wish to be less than the seasons which wait their turn, nor than fire hidden in wood to burst into life and burn. I dwell in dust and sing, and my song is most sweet. For although I lie prostrate, I do not entreat. My beloved spins the earth on the tip of one finger. Why should I cry for gifts he will will not forget his singer. They who ask God to fulfill their desires have no faith in him. For the essence of faith is to abide the beloved's will. I hold out my cup for him to fill at his pleasure. Now or at world's end, it will be the same full measure. Waiting is easy for me. I spent 1,000,000 years a stone, then millions more shaping my ears to receive song's golden tone. Now my waiting is praising, my praising is sweet. For although I lie prostrate, I do not entreat. Yes, my waiting is praising, my praising is sweet. For although I lie prostrate, I do not entreat. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Raine.
Wow, thank you, Tim and Noreen. Intensive people there listening.
Beautiful.
Great.
Beautiful.
Thank
Just
you, Raine.
We'll have to do a second session of the other 100.
Jai
And then
Baba.
a third, and then a third.
Thank you.
Hey, Baba. Thank you, Raine. Just beautiful.
Thank you, Dana. Jai Baba. When
Jai Baba.
there's a little line by Jim that got me through a very difficult time that he put as an insert into a different ghazal, and it goes, you have come all the way from your beyond state to call your inspiring call. You say the lover exists only in the beloved is all in all. I sang it fairly continuously while awake for 5 weeks when Franny had her spine surgery. That's all that came into my head. That's all I could do to get through. So thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
So good night, everyone. Enjoy Artie. See
How
you
about a
soon.
one moment of silence with you?
Yes, that would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more and more and more and still yet more, till we become worthy of union with you. And help us all to hold fast to Baba's Dharman until the very
end.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba.
Baba Ki Jai.
Hey.
Love you, Rainey. We love you, Rainey. Thank you for serenading us.
Love you, Raine.
Love you, Raine.
Rainey, I enjoyed a drop of chartreuse.
Oh, that was good.
It's
We have a
interesting.
nip on our shared. Francis and I share a birthday.
Little
24th
green-
of January.
Have a little green glass.
Oh, how cute! Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm a bad influence on you. Well, Francis is a bad
No,
influence
and
on both of us.
I can never afford it anyway, but it's very nice in the mouth, I have to say. Yeah.
It's probably good for you.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun.
Well, having a few drops of liqueur in mineral water is how you become a homeopathic drinker, my husband says. So I just have a few drops of something every Friday night.
Anything? You mean anything? No.
I only like the chartreuse and the coffee
Oh.
Mr. Black and Jägermeister. Now, Jägermeister's medicine. So
Yeah, I want to try that other one you told me about.
Jägermeister, yeah. It's 53 herbs.
No, you didn't tell me about that. Oh, really?
Oh,
Wow. Wow. It's probably not available here. I think this place is backward. It's so
there's people on here who love living there. Shush. Good
Wow.
night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Night, Rainey. Thank you.
Jai Baba.
that was great. That was great fun.
See you
Yeah.
soon.